All right. Welcome, everybody, back to this episode of the Second Opinion Loan Officer podcast. And I am super excited today because I've invited on a longtime friend of mine who is absolutely just amazing, Sam Parker with My Credit Guy. And today we're going to talk to Sam about some really, really exciting and interesting things that are happening in credit world that is going to impact home buyers. And so today we're going to talk about crushing credit content with Sam Parker. So, Sam, let's pull you in here. And thanks so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, my pleasure. Always a fun time to chat with you, Scott.
Yeah. Hopefully we can, this is my problem. I invite my friends on and I'm like, okay, let's try to keep this down under 2 hours
Yeah,
yes, so we can talk forever about
yeah.
stuff.
The rabbit
Um,
holes are deep.
Yeah, but so what I saw, so I know there's a lot of changes that are coming up in in the credit space. And primarily what it is FHFA, after more than a decade of lobbying, finally introduced the Vantage scoring model. And at the same time, they're going to update the FICO scoring model. Um, these are a really, really big deal for a lot of reasons. Um, I know I know the people at Vantage that have been working with Fannie Mae on this, and I know the statistics, and it opens up like something like 30 million borrowers that didn't previously qualify under the old FICO model, mostly minority, mostly low to moderate income families are now going to be able to score. And quite frankly, the only score anybody knows is their Vantage score.
Yeah,
Right? Is that right? Because it's with all your banks, all your credit unions, all of that is your Vantage score. So, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and where the opportunities are for us to start creating content and start educating consumers about what this is and what it means?
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we always want to paint a rosy picture to clients and let them know the possibilities that are coming up. And just get them moving, right? And so this is one of those things where there's obviously a very large group of people that have said in the past, or it has been proven in the past, don't have the same opportunities or access to the same opportunities that other people were having, right? And so it went from now the one thing that I will say for the old or the current model is it's simpler, right? Like there's less moving parts to it.
Okay.
But um, it left out so many bills that are being paid on a monthly basis, right? And so what it did was it went in and it looked at like what are your things that most people are using on a monthly basis. So electricity, utilities, things like that. And now it's going to give the opportunity to score that. The other thing though that is going to happen is that they're going to go to a trended data model, or more so than they are right now, which means that that score is going to take into account the last 2 years at least much more heavily than it does right now. So we are really going to have to change some strategy that we have to, if this goes exactly as it's presented right now. Because in theory, based on what they're saying, the things that we change right now and then rapid rescore really quick, that shouldn't have the same impact that it does. We shouldn't be getting 70 points by paying down a credit card that's been racked up for the last, whatever 18 months. That shouldn't technically happen anymore, and we could look at that as like like that was a good
Yeah,
thing.
because that was always one of my secret weapons. It's like, oh, okay, you have this one credit card that's maxed out.
Yeah.
Let's pay that thing off and see what happens. So you're thinking that overall it should be more fair. Do you think across the board, because people's spending habits have changed in the last couple of decades since the old scoring algorithm, right?
Yeah, here, being in my position, right, I
Yeah,
deal with folks that have credit issues, not and there's a big chunk of people that don't have credit issues. When
sure.
I look at the things that are now going to be reported on the folks that have credit issues, it's a tiny bit spooky to me, to tell you the truth, that
Mhm.
now somebody, like, I love it that like a bill that's being paid can now give you positive. But I did a little bit of research the other day, and not near as many people as it could potentially help, right? But a chunk of them are behind on rent right now. They're behind on their utility bills right now. And so I'm a little bit worried for those folks, where before the American public and the mortgage industry could kind of have this, it was almost like, when you're ready to go, we know that this sprint of 3 to 6 months can prepare you to be a home buyer, right? And it's just that I think that we're all going to have to be able to educate on being more disciplined on the small things, because now there is that
Mhm.
exposure, where there's the exposure or the opportunity to increase credit based on your electric bill. If you're one of those people that maybe lets it go to the 35th day and then you pay because technically that's in your grace period, well, now that's going to be a 30-day late pay. And
Mhm.
I'm just a little bit spooked about that, just a little bit.
No, yeah, I didn't think about that. Do you know if they given any indication on whether or not that's voluntary, that you can volunteer this, or are they going out to all the service providers and saying, start reporting?
It is my understanding that under these new models, it would be just like it is right now. If somebody is set up to report, they are reporting on a monthly basis, right?
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be some holes in that, in the, whatever, the utility company in the remote Alleghenies or something like that, like doesn't report, or something. But it's my understanding that it's supposed to be widespread, not voluntary reporting by the entity.
What is your understanding of what the 10T model is, the FICO 10T model? Is that a big difference? I have a slide that you gave us here on the Vantage model and what the Vantage looks like a little bit. Are you seeing big differences, or is 10T basically going to be
10
a lot like Vantage?
Well, I think 10T will be more like what we have today, plus utilities reported. Okay. And
Okay.
then this one is more of a granular breakdown that should, if you're having good spending habits, good behavior, it should reward you more for that granular behavior that right now goes unreported, right? It should
Okay.
give you more credit for your day-to-day behaviors, because what was said or reported, which is why this happened, is that there's all these people doing all these right things on a monthly, weekly basis that are going unreported. It's only the
Mm,
people that have qualified for credit cards, only the people that have auto loans, only the people that have qualified for mortgages. And there's obviously a big group of people that say, or have shown, we don't have access to that like you do. Now, what I wish we could have done was more directly address the problem and said, let's extend credit building situations to these people and make them very aware of it, right? Like, anybody can get a $200 secured credit card and start building credit like that. But if nobody's there to tell you about that, and
yep.
if in credit, like what happens in my industry, every time you reach out for help, it seems like somebody offers you something that's BS. Oh, let me sell you a trade line because that makes me money, rather than give you good advice, like just start off small, get a $200 credit card, show good behavior on that, bump that up to a 500 credit card, then apply for a normal Walmart card, then do this, then go back and close out your secured credit card. Now like that strategy. But typically when people reach out in this country for credit help to a credit repair company, they're just fresh meat, and so they're never getting that good holistic advice. And so what are they going to do?
Lexington trying to lock them into a $79 a month perpetual lifetime subscription.
It's just silly. It's just, everybody can do well with keeping the consumer's best interest in mind, and everyone does best when we have good, healthy consumers out there with solid credit reports. So it can be done right.
So I wanted to run this by you. So it's my prediction, I guess, that we're looking at a first time we're looking at a buyer's market for probably the next 18 to 24 months. It's impossible to know what's going to go on with the market. I don't even try. What I suspect is that if we have any stability in interest rates for longer than a 2-week period, we're going to see a huge influx of home buyer applications. So, I mean, how important or how hard is it to find folks that aren't quite mortgage ready right now and to get them into a position to where they are mortgage ready? I think it feels like a mountain, and it feels like people don't understand the power of having that ability to talk to somebody. Oh, you're not quite ready right now. Let me introduce you to somebody that can help.
Yeah, it feels like a mountain, but I'm a Sherpa. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that tough. It is at scale, right? Which is how lenders are going to have to approach this market, is at scale. You're going to need to address your past database of 200, 2,000 clients or whatever it is. And that seems like, oh my God, what if 50 of them reply? Now I'm going to have this credit conversation with them, right? Here's what I'll say. That market is out there. They are waiting and they have their hands raised high and people keep passing them by.
Yeah.
It is going to take one situation where somebody goes, are you saying that you want to borrow money? They're going to say, yeah, but I got bad credit. I got this. And the mortgage industry has largely turned into a hunter mentality, right? Like, I'm hungry, go out, get that loan. I need something in the near future, do this event. And it's like, we got to evolve past that to being farmers. And right now, every single one of these people is a seed. Yep. And then you have a follow-up campaign where you water them and nurture them and give them sun. And then in months from now, when the market turns back around, you get to make up for the slow times. But if you don't use this time wisely, you're slow now and you're slow then coming out of the gates. So you can do things right now that will get you more deals. They will get you those tough 2, 3, 4 extra deals by converting credit challenge clients on a monthly basis and doing it consistently. But that same effort right now that gets you 2 or 3 loans gets you your best months of your career when those rates come back down, because all of this is coming to fruition.
Yeah, man, you said that so perfectly. And that makes me feel good about my conversation I'm having with people, because we're very, very well aligned on that. And quite frankly, there really isn't a better opportunity than to broaden your net wide enough to go after these people that their credit isn't perfect. And you and I were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. Overwhelmingly, the largest number of new mortgage prospects are online right now. Mm-hmm. And they are all going to Google and YouTube, and they're getting caught in call centers. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Call centers only like cream. They're not even going to know how to touch somebody that has less than a 680 credit score or whatever. They're going to get spit out. They're going to have a bad experience. Those folks we can help, even if we can't help them. Let's say you put 100 people in your credit repair thing. I mean, if you have 10 of them that take it seriously and become homeowners at the other side of that, that's automatic. And not only is it automatic, and this is my experience as a content creator, is when you help people that previously thought that they could not qualify for a home, that is your best repeat and referral business you're ever going to get. They are passionate evangelists for you when you pull them out of the depths of having no hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that at that point, that client is ready to do business with you for the rest of their life. It is only your weak follow-up that makes it so that they don't. Right? And that can all be automated out. Like, what we're trying to do right now is have this big push to have a post-closing plan for your clients, because so many people close, they say congratulations, they send rate updates, or here's what's going on in your neck of the woods, but they don't give them a real plan. And it's so simple. It's we're closing, and you have this conversation. We're closing right now. There were a few things on your credit report that I want you to work on before our next check-in. We all know about EPOs. So when is the check-in? Got to be after 6 months, right? So you give them some objectives to turn them into a better person, because they're looking to you for that advice right now, and you have their ear right now. And you say, here's how in the future I'm going to better serve you. Meet me in the middle, get these credit cards paid down and keep them down consistently. Also, these are a couple items that you should work on or get help to work on, and I can provide you a resource. But 9 months from now, I want to have you guys just get into your house, have a good time. If rates drop, I'm going to let you know. But in 9 months, let's do a check-in, okay? And then you paint the vision of I am your person from now on, but you do it in a reasonable and scalable way that's backed up by automation. That client shouldn't go anywhere else, but statistics say they do right now, right? And so we got to fix that.
Well, and I think they do, because I think we do a poor job of follow-up. I think we do a poor job of continuing to provide value. And that's my entire purpose of this whole movement of being a second opinion loan officer. Create content, be available when consumers are looking for a second opinion. We already know what their motivation is, and we're gambling on the fact that they're going to get stuck with a call center kid who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And I'm seeing a huge conversion. Now, when you say this, are you talking about potentially making this a part of your service? So if I send a client to you and they go through your process, are you saying that this is something that my credit guy is going to follow up on, or are you going to create like a content library for people? Because I love where you're going with this. It's necessary.
Yeah. So the content library, I have dozens of videos ready to go for you right now. If you are building out your own content library, and will do it. If you're like, dude, I'm not going to do it. I've been meaning to do it for 3 years and I don't do it. We can do it for you, and we will edify you every step of the way. We just have to have that client's information. It'll be like when a client submitted to us right now, right? Like they're not all just signing up for credit repair. They come over, they get a free review, we give a game plan, and then we identify if there's heavy lifting that we could do on behalf of the client. So it's going to be the exact same thing, but just post-close. Hey, just closed on this loan. Can you do a free review and let us know if there's any room for improvement?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do. We do the review. We say, actually, congratulations on qualifying for your first home with an FHA. I do see several items that we could help get you cleared up. That would most likely jump you up. And then again, that's where it's going to be very important that the loan officer is available, at least in appearance, through follow-up mechanisms, and that we've painted the picture of what happens next. Because what I don't want to do is take your 640 to a 690, and then they go over to Joe and get a refi, right? Like nobody wants to create EPOs. And that's why it's like, if we're going to do this, there's a few pieces of it that it'll work, but it'll work if your client feels like they're your client and not like they're your past,
Yeah. That's, that's why I'm just telling people to just keep creating content and keep sharing your closings, your past client stories. And then when stuff like this comes up, create these videos. Like, they're not always going to be evergreen videos. This is going to be more like breaking news. Right. But if you're creating content, and this is one of the retention strategies, you don't have to have a personal message to that consumer every so often. But if you can keep them, if they're on your email list and hey, I created this new piece of content, might not be relevant to them at that particular time, but it reminds them that you're an educator, you're a problem solver, and when they're ready, I'm the guy that helped you out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to keep in mind too, like a buyer's psychology. People like to help people. They like to be the hub, right? They like to say, so if your messaging can cleverly transition to, do you know anybody who this information could help, right? Yeah. I get that. I'm reading it for myself because I'm like, well, before I pass this on, I should know. And if it's me, I go, hey, actually, that's me. And if not, you've put it in my head that I should pass this. Like when we create content, I say, hey, use this, share it, redo it in your own voice. I don't care. Just get this message out, right? And so if you create content like that where whoever is getting it can either consume it or gift it, you've just doubled your chances of being successful, right? Because it's not just to that one person.
Yeah, and my favorite close on video content is the "Can I help?" close, and it's really, you're not going to get somebody to. So if this is interesting, fill out my loan application below. It's like, no, this stuff is complex, and I'm trying to give you an overview so you can be aware of this. But my goal is to help avoid surprises. So if there's anything that I can help with, I'm here to answer questions. I don't want you falling into a pit of, whatever, telemarketer hell.
Yeah.
And just, and then your Calendly link,
Yep.
like that simple little thing. Engage in a conversation first, secure that relationship, build that trust. Because quite frankly, if they schedule an appointment on your calendar, they already know, like, and trust you. There's no sales going on there.
And that's what I tell people about their credit clients too, is if you're on the phone with somebody right now, if you've pulled credit on them right now, you've won. If there's a bracket, like, think of the March Madness bracket, right? They have not answered the phone or are not on the phone with all of these different hundreds of other mortgage companies, local, national, everybody. It's just you. You have won the national tournament for this person's business until you forfeit it and give it away, because it's not going to result in a check in the next 35 to 45 days, because it was not good enough that it might pay you in the next 6 months. You forfeit this. And it's just, if you start thinking about it like that, and then you go back to the tournament trying to win another one to get somebody else to replace that, it's like, that is so much work. Like,
it is so much work. And this stuff can be done. And this is why I want people like you on here to have these conversations, because this isn't that hard to set up. And when you set up these nurture and you have these mechanisms for providing value to somebody that you can't help today, you're doing your best to close loans today, but you're also investing in your long game at the same time. And it's okay to be transaction oriented and transaction minded, because we all need paychecks and we all need to pay our bills.
Of course.
But we also have a little bit of extra time right now, and we should be building out and investing in these long-term strategies like credit repair. And credit repair is probably the most important topic that you could be talking about in the market that we're going to be seeing for the next 2 years.
If nothing else, it's at bare bones for marketing, it's an attention getter. Everyone has credit. They either have bad credit or they have good credit. And whether they have bad credit or good credit, they want good credit, right? Or better credit. So you don't always have to speak to like poor credit, right? Like, I don't even do that in a lot of my marketing. I speak to what you want to be, right? Like, I speak to like, here's how we're going to build a strong credit profile. I don't usually talk about like the negative parts of it, because I need to get them out of that mentality anyway. I think that the credit scoring model is actually, the way it sits right now, actually really nice. I think it's super fair. I understand. But I didn't also know that many people were being left out in the cold, and that's unacceptable, right? But with the way that it was set up, it was like, whether you were poor or rich, you're just judged on your opportunities that are put in front of you. So whether it's a $200 secured card or a $200,000, black Amex or whatever, it's percentages. It's all percentages, and and so it's all to scale. Of course, if you have tons of money, you can pay your bills all the time, though. So
well, you would think. I've seen a lot of applications. I've seen a lot of applications.
Guys, right? They're the meanest ones. Hey, listen, I'm very important. Get this off my credit tomorrow.
It's like, yeah, but all your cards are maxed out. No, my when I did a lot of content, a lot of credit content, and my message was almost always that most people don't have bad credit. They just don't understand how to build good credit.
Yeah.
It's a game. And if you got to know the rules and you got to know how to play the game, and then once you do, then you can get that number that you're looking for. But it's because, like, my experience when I was younger, I completely cratered my credit. Like, I had a I was unemployed for a while, and I, stopped making my payments. I couldn't make my payments on my credit cards. So what I decided to do, because that was so traumatic, I didn't use credit for the next 6 or 7 years. I
Yeah.
just didn't do anything on credit, and my score got worse
Yeah.
than it did when I didn't pay anything. And so
Yeah.
that was my first really big experience where I understood, and I started with a secured credit card. And it took me about I think it took me about 12 to 18 months that first time to get over 700.
Mhm.
But then, you see, like you said, you see those credit cards.
Yeah.
Um,
It-
so
it's
you brought up, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about this. So here's another topic. And then I'd love to talk to you a little bit about what kind of resources you have available that people can use to create content. So you posted this reel about changes to medical debt. I
mhm.
don't have the video live. Do you mind? What I love about this is a what we are seeing video, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're like, hey, there was these changes and we weren't sure how it was going to happen, but here's what I'm seeing. Do you mind kind
Yeah.
of real quickly talking about what that video was?
Yeah, absolutely. So since I talk fast, I'll give the background on it. So there was, the release on medical debt that happened last year, maybe even the year before now, that said that July 2022, any medical that got paid off was zeroed out, was going to be off the credit report, right, within a couple of cycles. And then it was supposed to be July of this year that anything under $500 that's currently on the credit report is just off of the credit report. And what my processors and my investigations teams are seeing is that those are starting early. So if you had medical collections or had clients that it's like, man, this is tough, they just have medical collections. If they're under $500, you might want to check back, do a soft pull. If I'm talking to you, jump online and look at your credit, because if you had a medical collection under 500, it is either off by now or it's coming off soon. But they did start that before they had said that they were going to. So that's good news for the consumers.
And that's such great content. Like that's such great content to talk about and to share with people. So you do a lot of this. You produce a lot of content. You have videos that people can take, and that they can either repurpose them or they can use them as templates, or they can even just share
Yeah.
your videos. How do you like what mycreditguy.com,
Yeah.
obviously, your online profile.
Yep.
So your online profile, or your online presence, like on your Facebook, and then you have a Facebook group. Uh, Talk a little bit about that education piece and what you guys provide for loan officers.
Yeah, so if you're on our mailing list, and you can email us, parkerteam@mycreditguy.com, or you can go to my credit, you're going to get a hold of me if you want to, right? And just let me know, hey, add me to the newsletter. But every week, what we'll do is we'll send you out a video that you can download. Okay. Here's what a lot of people don't know. And so we want to walk them through it, right? Like they'll share a video straight from whatever source on Facebook. Well, now you've just bottomed yourself out on the algorithm. You have to put on your own organic content, like to get the most Facebook juice out of it, right? So we'll send you a video. We'll send you the messaging that we think would be appropriate to the client, so that if you really wanted to be simple, you can copy and paste, or at least you'll have a script to start off of. We'll give you the ability to download it and then instructions on how to upload it. So literally, you're getting our video, you watch it, I like that, download, copy, paste, upload to Facebook, copy, paste, send. And you're educating your buyers, and you will get conversations from realtors and buyers about credit every time, but you got to do it like that. You got to upload it from your profile, not share from another, not put links in the body of the email, because you're going to get buried there too. You just want that nice, simple content and a video.
Well, and you brought up something really important that I didn't mention is you should be sharing this with referral partners. Like
Yeah.
this is highly shareable content, and you can even create a message that that would make the referral partner want to share it out with other people. I think that's brilliant.
So I put a link in here for you. I should have had it ready so that I could share. And if you want to do it, it takes 30 seconds. But what I sent you there is you one time fill out this little form, name, NMLS, put your headshot in there, your company logo. Within 1 minute, you will be sent over 20 different infographics, social media posts, all that
Okay.
stuff,
Yes.
co-branded. And you're going to notice too that you can do this for a realtor. So every realtor that you wanted to show value to in the next 3 minutes, you could go and create co-branded information with them. And then anytime that we put a new one in, you just got to go, I like that one. And it'll do that for you again. So
Really?
it's free, it's fast. Our buddy Mark Madsen helped me build that thing out. So you
Yep.
know it's
I've seen it.
power. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna have Mark on in a couple of weeks. So he's doing some really cool stuff. So we are 100% gonna put that link down in the show notes. We're gonna share that link. I encourage everybody, if you're not familiar with Sam and My Credit Guy, they're super stand-up people. Like, I mean, you're a good friend, you're an ethical business owner, and you've always been so giving. And I love the fact that you understand the value of creating value for us loan originators, your clients, and you give us the tools to go out there and do that. Is there any last kind of little bit of tidbit or tips or tricks or strategies or anything you want to leave people with?
I'll just say
Besides that unbelievable flyer thing, like that's mind blowing. I hope we don't crash your servers. Actually, I do. I hope I do crash your servers.
I would, that's a problem I will deal with, I promise. But here's what I'll say about chatting with your community, marketing, whatever, where I see people fall flat. It's not that they don't put out good content. It's that they don't put it out consistently.
Yes.
And that is what a base wants to see. We see flashes in a pan all the time. That's why, like, I either post on social or like, and I know that this isn't good, but like you'll see me go like honestly months when I'm not feeling it, because I know that if I put up a good post, I need to put up another good post. I need to put up another, and it's a commitment, right? To stay there. But I mean, it's the easiest business you're ever going to have, right? Like Facebook is like, we are so spoiled. Like I used to make 300 calls a day before social media without a dialer. So be consistent, especially when you have a partner like us or somebody like Scott that you can just ask questions to about how to build out a nurture campaign. You can't not be in front of your clients and expect them to stay your clients. And we're talking weeks. You can't go more than weeks without saying, I'm the expert, I'm here to help. But, and I know I'm rambling now, but with the content that you send, like what we do with our lenders, make it something that then they can go and use to be a better person or to be a good friend or family member. Hey, here's something I consumed. You'll like the taste of it too, right? And then when you do that, then you really become like their household name and establish that loyalty that you're looking for.
Yeah, and loan officers out there, these are the kind of partnerships you want to have with vendors. You want to look at, in this market, there's a lot of things we can't control. We can't control rates, we can't control inventory, but we can control the people that we partner up with and that we work with and where we invest our time and energy. And I think My Credit Guy is one of those partners that if you have a credit repair person and they're not reaching out to you and trying to give you tips and trying to help you grow your business, look for vendors and look for transactional partners that are actively trying to help you grow your business in the best ways that they can. And that's what I've always admired about you and about My Credit Guy. And it's just, the last thing, and I try not to make these commercials, but I like you and I like what you guys do. And what you've provided to the industry is so much different from credit repair. And your goal is to always get them mortgage ready in somewhere 3 to 4 months or 3 to 5 months. You have a very short timeline that you're trying to get people in a position. And now what you're talking about is let's get them into the house and then let's follow up in 7 or 8 months, see if we can get their credit score up. Rates have probably come down in this market in the next 12 months. And then let's get them into their next loan, their next refi in less than a year if market conditions allow it. And if you're using tools like credit or credit restoration, credit improvement, if you're using that type of education in your communication with your client base, it's just a brilliant retention tool. So, brother, I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad you came on here. We are going to put the link in the description below. Anybody that wants to reach out, talk to my credit guy, see what they're doing. Go to Sam's profile, Facebook. I don't know if you post on LinkedIn, but there's lots of great content there, and he's very sharing. And it's a super, super solid company, and they've helped a lot of people grow their business in this way. So, brother, thanks so much. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. All right,